Yeah, help me figure out something, because you're not going to have the answer, so it's not fair that I'm going to ask you, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Because you are, let's say there's two categories of people: those who are outspoken, whether quietly or whether they're getting soup dumped on them. And then there are people who are not outspoken, who sort of steam and vent and make anonymous Twitter accounts and rant. And then you are sort of somewhere in between. And maybe you will be inexorably pulled into the outspoken camp, even if it's quietly. But it means that you will be using your name and attaching your views and challenging people to just accept it. This is what I think. How about that? How do we get people who are quiet or anonymous to move them into the position, even if it's just quietly saying, this is what I believe. I believe, so, I'm going to say my beliefs, not yours, but I believe that sex changes on children are wrong. I believe letting boys play in girls' sports is wrong and terribly unfair to girls. It's unfair to young women in college. And I believe those two things. I believe a few other things as well, but I think that those are really important social beliefs. And I am glad to have my name attached to it. How do we get other people to be able to make statements like that?
I I think I think maybe it is kind of time now. Previously, I would say when the conversation has shifted, I guess you'd have to make them and see what happens. I don't know. Make sure that people are not arrested or lose their jobs, because that happened actually in my state.
Yeah,
Um,
it will happen to some people, but this is sort of what happens with the spiral of
mhm.
silence, is that as long as people are afraid to say anything, there's something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Do you think that it is moral or amoral to tell children that it's possible that they can change
I think it's
sex?
amoral. Of course, it is.
Do you think that in a just and free society, that if you see something that is harmful and you can make a strong case that it's harmful, that you should be able to say so without being ashamed?
I'm sorry, getting upset. Yeah, I do.
I think so too. It's really strange because even if you dial all of your opinions all the way back and say, you can't, men can't become women, they're a bunch of perverts and AGP, if you dial it all the way back, all the way down and say, I think it's wrong to tell these kids that they can't change, or that they can change their sex, and to give them support in this delusion that they can change their sex. I just don't think that's right. You can't even say that without fear of losing your your job, your associations.
Yeah,
This is really
yeah,
dire,
you're right.
actually.